Hello, military friends and family, and this is from the front lines. Today, we're gonna look ahead to a week that brings us back to Albany. Not to repeat the past, but to show how we've grown, how the mission has evolved, how our work continues to build strength across the state. Albany is not just where laws are written; it's where veterans and families should see themselves reflected, where the voices of caregivers and peer supporters deserve a seat at the table, where statewide programs like Dwyer must remain visible, protected, and valuable. When the Dwyer Program began, it started with 4 counties: Saratoga, Jefferson, Rensselaer, and Suffolk. 4 counties that stepped it forward and said veterans deserve a place where they can breathe, where where they can talk with someone who just understands the weight of service, where connection is not optional. It's life changing. And from those 4 counties, Dwyer now reaches all 62 counties across New York. A full statewide network built on trust, honesty, and peer support. A network that carries the stories of veterans from every era and every bench. Now, New York is home to more than 500,000 veterans, according to the U.S. Census. But here's the truth: census numbers do not capture everyone who served. They miss people who've never filled out the form. They miss families who move. They miss those who do not want to be counted because of the experience they carry. Which means the real number of veterans in New York are even higher. The need is even greater, and our responsibility as a community just becomes even more urgent. That is why Albany matters, because funding decisions impact every peer meeting, every event, every caregiver who reaches out for support, every veteran looking for a place to belong, just a place to belong again. Policy is not paperwork. People elect our officials. So policy represents so much of what can impact our community. And when I return to Albany, it's to let people know, hey, Albany is a place that creates change, implements change, and creates so much that what we need to do to our advocacy starts in Albany. And when we step there, when we walk there, when we testify there, when we're speaking up there, we're not just speaking for ourselves, we're speaking for many individuals. We're stepping into we're stepping with more clarity, more direction, more purpose. We have evolved, and we're now showing the state that we've grown. We're not just putting together videos or just throwing stuff on Facebook. We're showing, sharing, and talking about what's matter in our community. As someone that has served in the Air Force and have my own lived experience and challenges, I could say that I know how that walk is. And there's a report that's out there, the RAND report, reminds us how real the challenges are. It says that many veterans in New York State struggle to access mental health support. Some face long, waits at times. Some feel unseen or understood. So some do not know what services are available in their county. And that's interesting to just think about. When you serve your country, you come back looking and seeking for help. And that's where so much of our advocacy goes a long way. Caregivers are often a hidden backbone of military households. They manage appointments, they carry emotional labor, they protect the home front. They protect the home front long after uniforms are packed away. They need support such as veterans does. And programs that understand military culture are not optional. They're essential. So when we're in Albany, we bring these truths. We bring these truths with us. Lived experience, the faces behind the numbers, the families behind the statistics, the counties that work every day to keep veterans connected, and the everyday reality that peer support saves lives. This is not a political movement. This is not a political moment. This is not about politics. This is a mission about the moment. a responsibility in the moment, a moment to make sure the state understands how crucial the Dwyer Program is across all 62 counties, a moment to affirm that we are, we're not here for recognition. We're here for results. And this week, our presence as we talk about Albany reflects the growth, it reflects the progress, it reflects a coalition that is not just holding the line, but pushing it forward. Because veterans deserve more than survival. They deserve connection. They deserve stability. They deserve, communities that understand the world they walk in. So from the front lines, today is a reminder, when just by returning to Albany, we return with purpose. We return by speaking about Albany to show and talk about the different things that Albany has to offer. The Dwyer Program, which cultivates so much. They have a great resource system. They're connected to their VSA, and so much of what happens there is a reflection of what other counties are doing. The support, the connection, the networking, the growth. And that's why we talk and advocate for so much of what every county is doing, because so much of the counties that are operating, they provide services that are unique for their counties. And when you see one county, you've met one county. So if you go to Rensselaer County, if you went to Suffolk County, if you went to Jefferson County, Saratoga, whatever county you went to, you're just meeting the Dwyer Program in their county. So that's why we always advocate. We talk about peer-to-peer. We talk about how community can connect with one another and just have these different resources. So, so from the front lines today, as a reminder, we return to Albany with respect for tradition and commitment to the future, with the understanding that every county work matter, for every story matter, for every life matters. We move together, we advocate together, we build together, and we're going to talk about the services that are connecting our community. So when you connect to Albany, know that there's the Verica Medical Center that actually have a lot of resources. If a veteran needs clothing, food, or just something, you could actually connect with them and they'll help you. That's one of the many resources in Albany that's available. And like I spoke about the Veteran Service Agency, they can help you with service connection and so many other things that get you to that allows you to know that you still have a purpose and you still matter. So as we talk about these different counties and as we talk about just different issues and just many other things, we are going to definitely talk about things that are in the community, the things that challenge us, and we're going to be real with it. And we're going to make sure that everybody knows and understand why we continue to advocate and fight, and know that, we're not doing this for the dollar. We're doing it because we know one life matter, and that one life will impact so many around them. So thank you for walking with us. Thank you for standing with the veterans and the families across New York State. And thank you for being a part of the mission that continues to grow. And thank you just for always listening to these different messages and stories every week, because from you listening, it helps the message go out even further. Take care, everybody.